Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Success Starts Within. Today, I've got Jenna Baird with me, who is going to be talking to me about coaching and dating and all things business. So, Jenna is a dating coach and runs a high-end boutique dating service that's online, and she supports women that are in their 40s and 50s to change their previous dating patterns and to find the love of their life. So, welcome, Jenna.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was quite an intro. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm super excited about chatting to you because dating is something that is always on everybody's mind. And we're all trying to look for the love of our lives. But we just had a very interesting conversation about exactly who the love of our life is. So fill everybody in. What were we just talking about?
Yeah, well, people will come to me and go, can you help me get the love of my life? And I'm like, yeah, and confident I can say yes, because I truly actually believe the love of your life should be yourself. Because that is where it all starts. That can lead you to find that external love of your life. But I truly believe it comes from within. And sometimes we even say, of course I love myself, of course but do we? Do we really? And sometimes we try to outsource that to a partner. And it's sometimes people think they're coming to me with the result of having a partner, which absolutely I can help with. But the biggest turning point, is when you realize, like, wow, I'm enough, and that makes you more attractive. So that will help you find a partner. So
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I completely agree with that. We always look for that external validation, and I find that a lot in women, especially like looking for that person to say, "Well done, you're doing really well." But actually, when you find that within yourself, you
Yeah.
find the ability to start recognizing yourself, your achievements, who you are, what you've done, then actually you don't need other people. But the
Uh,
result of that is that people then start to I find like clients start to do all these amazing things in their business and get these awesome results just because they've connected with themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. And although we work, I know, kind of the same age range and things like that, but although you focus on women like in business and I'm dating, actually what we do is not very dissimilar. Like we really, because that is the core of what you need to do to success in all areas of life.
Yeah.
You have to be okay with you for business, for families, for the way you parent, for everything. I think it's really, but some people focus on the love life, some people focus on the business side, but equally, we're probably teaching the same thing, if I'm
Yeah,
honest.
definitely. Yeah, and I completely agree. I think the foundations are so similar. And the work that I do is, yeah, although it is business, as you say, it's connecting with you as well. You have to have that trust in yourself. And so many people don't have the self-trust, they don't have the self-belief. So they do things like sabotage. And I'm sure you probably find that in the dating world as well.
Uh, yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We all do it. I mean, I preach it all day and I do it myself. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It's by default we go back to that, because it's kind of how we've spent, well, I'm 43, by the time you reach like my age, you've been doing that consistently for so many years. You just naturally go to that.
Yeah.
But I think like with the work you do and I do, it's that recognizing and calling it out rather than acting on it. I think that's the difference. When you reach our age, it's like it's more of an effort to no, that's not me anymore. Like it's an effort. Whereas I really hope like we can give it to the next generation. They can click to this a lot earlier than we did.
Yeah.
That's got to be one of the benefits of social media, that we can put that out there. And
Yeah, I totally agree. I always say that we are the generational chain breakers. We are creating a new world for these other men and these other women. And yeah, as you just kind of alluded there about the identity. So it's working on like who we want to be rather than who we were and kind of going through that process of changing. And no, it's not easy to change the person that we were because we're holding on to beliefs that we've had for, yeah, like 40 years. So
yeah.
our nervous system and our subconscious mind, like that's all it knows. The nervous system feels safe with like these maybe these toxic relationships that people have had. But even though consciously they're like, I don't want to be shit on anymore, but they can't help but go for these relationships because that's subconsciously that's what they're drawn to. So it's going through this big process of learning to learn another way, but also teaching the nervous system that it's safe for them to have this more kinder, nicer, loving relationship. And yeah, stepping is what I call into it, the main character identity, someone that's like that next level version of you.
Love that. I love main character energy. It's
Yeah.
so good. Who wants to be an extra in your own life? You know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. So tell me, what got you into the online dating coaching? Love to tell me the story.
So I became a matchmaker completely by accident. It was something that found me. I didn't even really know it was a job. So I was doing matchmaking and I loved it and it was very exciting. And I was trained really, really well. I was trained by a couple and they had very traditional values and I loved it. And it's as I got well known and more experience, they were charging a premium for me and I had hit a salary ceiling. And I was a bit like, oh, I think I'm quite good at what I do. And they're charging more, so I must be good at what I do. But I'm a single mum, I've got 4 children. And I was like, but do I think I'm good enough to do it? So I knew I was never going to beat that salary ceiling, and I wanted to continue with matchmaking and also the coaching side because I found that I enjoyed my conversations with men and women more than I enjoyed passing those numbers and hearing feedback of the dates. They were all well and good, but I loved it if like a woman kind of said to me, "Oh, I don't know why I just can't move forward or I just can't." And I found I enjoyed those conversations more. um, but yeah, it took me a battle in my brain for many, many years of you're a single mum, play safe. You need that wage. It was a very small wage, let me put that out there. But it was safe, it was consistent. I knew it just about covered my bills. And so I thought, maybe when the kids are older, but I just strongly felt like I'm undervalued here. You won't up my salary, but each year the more experience I get, I I don't. It was just so hard. I've come from generations and generations of being employed.
Mhm.
You just left job. Left school. You got a job. You were employed, and that's just always the way it's been. No one in my family has set up their own business and I know people probably thought I was a bit crazy, but my hands took over one day. It's about 2 3 years ago. I literally just found myself sitting there and I was like, type out my resignation with immediate effect. And I was like, someone stop me. that it was honestly this overwhelming feeling inside me that I know that I can do more. I know that I'm meant for more. But it was that fear. It was well, everyone in your family's employed. You've got to feed your children at the end of the month. You must know what wage is coming in. And don't get me wrong, being self-employed is the bravest thing I've ever done. And it hasn't been skyrocketed straight away. It's a journey. Um, and it definitely is the bravest thing I've ever done because I feel like you just said, breaking a generational, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary. I will never, any change is scary.
Change is scary, but it sounds to me like you've been on such a journey of battling like all of these beliefs that you have been brought up to believe, these stories that you were telling yourself, this pressure of like having the family and but also knowing that you are making somebody else a shitload of money when you could be doing that for yourself, but you've been brought up in a family where it's like you finish school, you go to work, and that's it.
Yeah.
So taking those steps to kind of get to where you are is, like you say, really brave. But what was your, yeah, I mean, obviously you've covered like the stories that you told yourself, but what was the point where you were like, I'm actually just going to do this? And what were you telling yourself in terms of how, like, what beliefs were you deciding that you had to change in order to make it happen?
Um, Well, I honestly don't know what made me just do that that day. I don't know, divine intervention. I don't know. Like, I don't know what made me do it because I battled with it in my head for a long time. And I'm a very, very reactive person. Now, that has its pros and its cons, you know. Um, if I just think, do you know what? Actually, I really trust my gut. I know I'm worth more, and I'll react on it. Relationships, jobs, that appears in different areas of my life. It also has a bad thing because, you know, the first time I put a post out, no one watched it. I was like, oh well, failed, done, jack it in. You know, I'm so reactive with everything. And so, and again, relationships, oh well, that's it, gone. That date didn't go well. This is over. Like, so it was just recognizing that reactive thing of being, okay, you've done that as a positive. This isn't one of the bad cases of when you're reactive. So it was a bit of, well, you've done it now. You have to make it work. Um, but trying to then control how reactive I was. So I was taking, at the beginning when I was setting up, I was taking everything as a, oh, well, there you go. Doesn't work. Jack it in. Like, just give up. You tried it and it hadn't even really tried it. I mean, I'm talking like registering with company's house and then going, oh my God, they're asking me really hard questions. That's it. It's failed. Like from the start, I was telling myself that it wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
And it was really tuning into that gut. I think your gut instinct is so powerful. I really do.
Yeah, 100%. And that's amazing that you know that you're like your head is telling you one thing, it's telling you no, you can't, like this is hard. And that's what happens when like we come across, for example, like you said, in company's house, like a question's difficult. It's like, "Do you know what? I can't do this," because what's happened is that you've gone through like so far, like pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and you've reached a limit. So just something so small will just pull you back and say,
Yeah.
you know, we need to stop. But you've just kept pushing. And the fact that you've used your gut, are you into
Hmm.
human design?
But what, sorry?
Into human design?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you, so I'm sacral. I make my decisions from my gut. And
Okay.
I don't know whether you are, what your, it's still called your authority. Maybe we'll look into that. But yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's making those decisions from your gut and being like, okay, I know this is right. And really tuning into that and allowing your gut to be the thing that is supporting you. And again, it's also like, what I say to my clients is work with your nervous system the whole way through any big change. Your nervous system is going, fuck, I can't do this, which is why all these little small things are going to start become huge.
Yeah.
But it's like teaching that safety and like in the moments like that, just, you know, just like breathing through and allowing those thoughts and emotions to work through your body. But at the same time, as you say, just like listening to that gut and going, I know this is right. And
Yeah.
yeah, and just working through it.
Yeah. Oh, so you actually make your decisions from your gut
I do, yeah, I do.
always, or did you have to teach yourself a little bit to do that?
I had to teach myself, but I know that my gut is, if it's not a hell yes in the moment, then it's a hell no. And
Okay.
sometimes I think, oh my God, this is going to be a great opportunity. But if my gut's going, no, I can't, this doesn't feel right, I have to honor it. And most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's been the right decision because it's opened up something else for me, or maybe what I was going to do wasn't the right thing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I do follow my gut. I do. So I wanted to ask you a question about old Jenna versus current Jenna. So the identity that you have had to take on in order to have this really successful dating business that you've got. So tell me what old versions of you have you had to get rid of and what have you replaced them with?
Wow. I Well, with self development's been a big, huge thing for me,
Hmm.
and just being aware. So, you know, when you really do that inner work, you go back to kind of childhood, don't you?
Yeah.
So I realised for various reasons and another, from a very young age, I've been a people pleaser. And that is probably my strongest, I'm gonna say bad trait, but I actually also think it can be good
Hmm.
sometimes, because I feel like I can adapt and work with anyone, and and I do genuinely just adapt. It's finding the boundary. But so I know from a younger age, I've always people pleased. And so I do that, and I can adapt. But it's what I've had to realize is you can't really keep making other people happy. You can't keep doing it because that's who they want you to be. Because eventually I can't live a lie. I can't live a lie. And I have to be true to who I am. And so it was turning that people pleasing into kind of a positive of, wow, I know how to communicate with that person. I know how to communicate with that person. And, I dealt with people that are struggling with food banks, to people that are, really, really high end, and, are struggling because their private jets had to wait 2 minutes. I'm talking like different scales. And I'm like, okay, stop people pleasing where you're changing you, but just use that as a skill. That, wow, I'm so lucky that I've got that skill within me, because I can actually speak to people on all levels, and I genuinely am interested, and I genuinely do want to relate. I don't know what it's like to go on a private jet, but like I will really put myself in and understand that. So it's taking those things that probably aren't really always your best trait and using them to your advantage, and seeing kind of the positives. So just looking at people pleasing, where has it held me back, and where can it move me forwards?
Yeah.
That's probably something, because I know you look back, and I'm not a fan of the whole, oh, blame the parents, but it's not. Our childhood is our childhood. Not blaming anyone, but that is what I brought out of my childhood. I people please. So do I let it hold me back, or do I let it move me forwards? And
I love
and so
that.
it's that.
I love that. I love that you've taken like that old part of you and actually taken the good parts of it, and you've been able to reframe it and still have that label. I always talk about us having these labels as part of our identity, and like peeling the labels off and getting rid of them, replacing them with new ones. So although you've kind of kept the people pleasing, you've reframed it, and you're like, actually it just means that I can then go and speak to people of like all different ilks, all different classes, all different
Mhm.
ages, etc., and use that to your advantage. So I love that. That's such a great way of reframing it, because you're also not putting yourself down and saying, oh, I'm such a people pleaser and I put my everyone else before me. And it's like, well, actually I'm aware that that's what I was doing, but now I can now go out and I can talk to anybody and I can support anybody. So I love that
Yeah.
you've been able to reframe that.
It's like you said before, it's having that, but having boundaries.
Mm.
Boundaries are important, aren't they?
Massively. And boundaries are something that a lot of people struggle with. And a lot of people, they don't know what the boundaries are. Boundaries get blurred. And it's like, it's so important to work out what they are and then honor them as well. It's not always
Yeah,
easy to honor them as well, is it?
absolutely. And
Yeah.
again, that's in dating and business and everything. You've got to have those bloody boundaries. You have
Yes,
to.
exactly. So, what is one thing you would like the listener to know, or one thing that you would like them to try? I always think it's really good from your experience to share that with other people, that people can think, actually, that's something that I might start implementing in my life, or that's one change that I can do. Obviously, you've mentioned about the reframe with the people pleasing, but what's one bit of advice you would like to give the listeners?
Oh, geez, the pressure. The pressure. Yeah. I think it is really, the more you speak to women, you're really not on your own. Like, I went for coaching myself, because I felt like a bit I was being dishonest, because I was saying all these things to women, and I truly believed they could do it. Like, in my soul, I was like, she can absolutely smash this. She can do this. I believe in her. Doing it. And then I would look at my own life, and I'd be like, yeah, but not you.
Mm,
Like, and there must have been another woman in the world that believed it in me. And I think it's the more you talk to women, we're actually all a bit the same. You're not really on your own with your struggles. Like, we all, most of us, want well for other women. I certainly do. Like, and I believe that any woman can achieve anything. People, actually, not just women. But, for the context of this, I believe that any woman can do anything. But then I looked at me and I thought, but not you.
Mm,
Not you. And I would play small and I would think, no, I love that for other people, but it's just not for me. And so I felt like a bit of a fraud saying it when I wasn't actually doing it in my own life. So I went for coaching and worked on myself, and I actually believe it for me now.
yay, I love that. That is going to resonate with so many people because, I think there is that thought where, I can see that in other people and I can support people to do that. And then they look at their lives, they're like, oh my God, I like you say, it's that I feel like a fraud. I'm not doing it. But as you said, getting that coaching support to allow that person to get you to that point. But that is, yeah, that is 100% going to resonate with people because it resonates with me.
Yeah.
We're not on our own. Like, this is one of the reasons why I did the podcast and I want to start having people on the podcast because when I started, I had people messaging me saying, oh, you know what, that episode, I felt exactly the same. And I was like, yes. And it feels so validating in a way
Yeah.
when you know that you're not on your own. And we all have the same thoughts, I feel, as women. We all have the same worries, the same feelings. But a lot of people don't want to talk about it, so they keep it within, and
Yeah.
then there's this kind of ripple effect where no one's really talking, and it's like, no, we need people to start saying it as it is, so
Yeah.
other people go, oh my God, I'm not on my own. Okay, well, she felt like this, but now she's doing this, so
Yeah.
that's possible for me. So really, we're showing people what is possible for them if we do the self-development and all of the inner work.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we should mention here how you and I met, by the way,
Yeah,
because we both went for a coffee at the coffee station at the same time at a random event in London.
yeah,
And I don't know how we spoke about it straight away, but we were both saying we were both being held back by the same thing at the same time, and that was putting ourselves out there on social media.
yeah.
And I clicked with you straight away, and I thought, oh my God, I feel like that. I feel like that. And then we followed each other. Was so proud when you started putting yourself out there and actually post it, and you did it, oh my God, a good bloody year before I actually started doing it. And I thought, love that. And was I jealous? Absolutely. Because I was like, that was our struggle at the same time. And you have actioned it. How dare you? And but so just always remember that people are watching you, like, and they are. And yeah, it took me a little bit longer, but I got there. But what you do and show other people that they can also achieve is huge. So yeah, well done you.
And that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing. We're showing women that it's possible for them. And, you know, both of us have been through our own journeys to get here. It's not been easy. God,
Yeah.
tears have been shed. Like, I don't know how many journals I've got under my bed and just doing the work, like going really deep. But once you do face the gremlins or the shitty committee, whatever we want to call it, and we start to release it and work through it, we're then able to come out and be on social media and support the people and just do all of the things that we want to do. And like you, I'm such a massive advocate and cheerleader for other women as well. Like, there's no competition, there's enough space for us all out there, and it's just realizing that as well. So yes, thank you. Well, I've absolutely
Okay.
loved our conversation, and
Me too. Me too.
it's been amazing. And yes, so Jenna, where can people find you on social media, online? Where can they find you? Tell me.
Oh, I'm all over the place. So I'm mainly more active on Instagram, to be honest, and it's just Jenna underscore my dating PA. But yeah, I'm also on YouTube. But yeah, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, you name it, I'm on it. But yeah, Jenna, my dating PA, and you'll find me.
Well, go and follow Jenna. And yes, she is absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for listening to the episode today, and I will speak to you later. Bye.
Bye.